This is CBS 2 News at 11.
We will search the whole debris pile until every piece is picked up.
From drones to dogs, the desperate search through the debris after a partial building collapse in the Bronx.
The ground was shaking like a lot. We were just panicking, just trying to get to the car.
Tonight, as investigators try to figure out what went wrong, tenants with bedrooms ripped apart wonder what's next.
No one expects to come home from work and see their building partially collapse.
Good evening, I'm Kristine Johnson.
And I'm Maurice Dubois. We are live here in Morris Heights at the scene of this partial building collapse. Incredible scene here, and happy to report something of a Christmas and holiday miracle. FDNY has actually wrapped up its search tonight, some 8 hours after the incident happened, and they found no victims. Here's what we know at the moment. FDNY did tell us late tonight that 2 people have suffered minor injuries. It happened as they evacuated from the 7-story building, and right now the Red Cross is helping families who have been displaced. We've got team coverage for you here tonight, talking with tenants, with neighbors, and city officials about what went wrong here. And we begin with CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis. She was one of the very first reporters on the scene, and she joins me right here, right now. Jenna.
Maurice, you know, I spoke with a lot of people out here, and I spoke with a woman who says she saw the collapse and it took everyone by surprise. I mean, how could it not? Standing here and still looking at this building is surprising. But as you mentioned, the good news tonight, the FDNY has completed the search and found no victims. Shocking video shows people walking along the sidewalk when suddenly part of the building comes down and some start running for their lives.
I'm scared. I don't even want to be in my own place. I'm scared.
Tia Scott frequents the bodega on the main level of the building located at the corner of West Burnside Avenue and Phelan Place. She returned Monday afternoon to a jaw-dropping scene.
We actually just left from over here. Just left, and this was not like this. You can see the living room, we can see the bedroom, we can see in the whole building right now.
Police sources tell us the first call came in after 3:30 from a woman reporting she escaped. Several 911 calls followed. The FDNY says it responded in 1 minute and 36 seconds and evacuated the 7-story building. With the help of drones and canines, firefighters tapped into specialized training to search the large pile of debris.
Tactical units, collapse units, and our EMTs and rescue medics who are trained specifically to treat someone in a collapse.
We're tunneling in to that debris pile as safely as we can. Firefighters right now are in a dangerous position. We don't know what caused this corner of the building to come down, and we don't know if any more of it's going to come down. But we're searching for life, and that's our main objective at this time.
Tonight, the FDNY posted to social media after going through the debris 12 feet high in spots, it found no victims. 2 people sustained minor injuries during the evacuation. Above the rubble is what's left of people's homes. Someone's bed, a sofa, appliances, a child's jacket still hanging. And the question many want answered, how could this happen? And Maurice, standing here again, I want to revisit what we're seeing here. I mean, this is the inside of people's homes, all these belongings strewed on the street and out here. It's just shocking to see.
It really is. It's so stunning. We happen to see a military picture, you know, someone's full dress uniform, a photograph hanging on the wall. You know, just another shot of a life just ripped apart so suddenly and so shockingly.
Absolutely. And of course, the next step is going to be for the Department of Buildings to send out their inspectors to answer that question, how and why this happened. That's it for now. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much, Jenna. Really appreciate it. And tonight, everybody living in the building is finding a new place to stay. The city and the Red Cross have put up a makeshift shelter just a few blocks from this collapse site here to provide food and shelter. CBS 2's Naveen Dhaliwal live with more on that situation. Naveen.
Yeah, Maurice, it's been a rough night for the tenants of that building, and some of them are here at PS 390. The Red Cross, the city, providing them with food and shelter, and many are anxious by what happened and by what the future holds. Residents of 172 West Burnside still can't believe what they saw and felt.
The ground was shaking like a lot, like it was scared. It was like an earthquake. I told Mom, the earth shaking.
Angel Soto was working remotely Monday afternoon when part of his apartment building came crashing down.
I grabbed the emergency bags that the city gives out. We grabbed those. We have like some clothes in there and our phones, and that's it, and a dog.
When he got outside, he saw the unbelievable sight.
We were just panicking, just trying to get to the car.
It sounded like a bunch of car crashes into the building.
In seconds, the collapse displaced more than 30 families, leaving them with so much uncertainty just 2 weeks before Christmas.
You can express what is your feeling, because you can see today you have a house and tomorrow you don't have anything.
The Red Cross providing them with food and shelter inside PS 390, just a short few blocks away from the mangled site. As they gather, there's a common ground.
I mean, on my apartment, all the rooms are cracked.
They say the building and the apartments had problems that went unserviced.
Everything is messed up in there. It's like old. You hear things crackling. It wasn't good.
And while the cause of this collapse has yet to be determined, Soto now trying to figure out tomorrow.
Got to see how I'm gonna log in for work again, because money's important now. But we're safe, so that's the most important part.
Yeah, boy, were they lucky. Now, some tenants weren't even home when that building collapsed. They didn't have a chance to grab anything, and it's uncertain when they'll be going back in. We're live in Morris Heights. Naveen Dhaliwal, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Naveen, thank you. And CBS 2's Lisa Rosner has been speaking with people who witnessed the partial collapse. She joins us now with what they saw. Lisa.
Well, Maurice, there are dozens of apartments in this building and 6 businesses. Earlier, I had spoken with the building super who had told me he believed everyone was accounted for. Now, take a look at what the ground floor looks like right now. I mean, it is covered with debris from the 2nd floor, and it is hard to believe, but right there, that spot is a busy corner where people were walking this afternoon. A hanging mattress, laundry machine, and clothes in the now street-exposed units are a sign of the lives more than 100 people were leading Monday afternoon just before 4 p.m. The building super telling us by phone he was working on a unit when his wife called from their 3rd-floor apartment.
My wife called me. She said the building is moving. When I go downstairs to check the bedroom, everything collapsed. My daughter's bedroom, he got a baby bag for my granddaughter.
The owner of the 1st-floor bodega says in Spanish he ran out just in time. He says we heard a crack and were able to leave. That's when everything came tumbling down. This man works across the street. He says there were men working on the building outside, as they had been for a few hours every day in recent months.
People were screaming, like they was talking to the guys in the construction. Somebody was telling them, what you guys doing? Because they did a big hole to the building. Yeah, they did a big hole, and the whole building will start cracking. We see like a big rock start falling down. Then the whole building just fell down in like a second.
The Bronx Borough president says there have already been several partial building collapses in the borough during her term.
I think about the working people that have to go to work tomorrow, the children that have to go to school tomorrow, right? And their lives are disrupted right now.
And she says this is a wake-up call about investments that need to be made in the aging buildings across the city. Now, earlier when I spoke with the super, he told me he was surprised by this and that he was not aware of any structural issues in the days leading up to this. We're live in Morris Heights. Lisa Rosner, CBS 2 News.
Lisa, thank you. And we have been looking into the history of this particular building and the past violations at the property. CBS 2 investigative reporter Tim Nicholas joins us now with that part of the story. And there's a lot to dig into here, Tim.
That's right, Maurice. The Department of Buildings says there are 7 open violations at this property. That includes one from March of 2021 for hazardous conditions to the facade. Building is 96 years old, and from this black and white picture we obtained, taken between 1939 and 1941, you could see not much has been updated on the exterior. The CBS 2 investigative team found Google Street View images from November of last year that clearly show cracks in the corner of the building where the collapse happened.
Mortar that was deteriorating, cracked bricks. There is an active permit, a permit that's valid until next summer. work was being done on this building as recently as a few days ago.
CBS 2 dug into Department of Transportation records and found permits were issued just today for sidewalk construction near this intersection. The permits were to replace the sidewalk and to use construction equipment, including a backhoe. While the permits were issued today, they are not valid until later this month, so it's not clear if that work had started in any capacity. The buildings department has not said whether that or the facade problems could have contributed to the collapse.
And I want to be clear, unsafe facade conditions is not the same as an unsafe building.
In November of this year, an inspector wrote about a missing mud sill, saying it could, quote, compromise the structural stability, causing a potential collapse, injuring pedestrians and damaging property. But records show that was for a sidewalk shed at the property, and the city says none of the open violations are for structural hazards on the building itself. And to give you some context, Maurice, that photo that I showed there of the Google Street View image with the cracks on the building, that was right there, right at the bottom of that corner. That's where that photo is from. It was from November of 2021. A whole lot to investigate here to try to learn more and try to make sure that nothing like this ever happens again.
Yeah, so many different angles to investigate. Tim, thank you. We're all over it tonight. And do stay with us here at CBS 2 News. We're going to bring you the latest updates on the building. We're going to do it online and on the air, as well as at cbsnewyork.com. Kristine, we'll talk about some of the options or some of the possibilities as well in terms of what on earth happened here. We'll do that in our next block right after a short break. Kristine.
Absolutely, Maurice, and kudos to that fire department, the FDNY, and that elite team that responds to these types of situations. Just the best work out there tonight. Thanks, Maurice. We'll see you again soon. Still ahead here at 11, is former President Trump immune to prosecution? The Supreme Court could decide that. And a beloved dog back home after dodging traffic on Staten Island. We hear from one of the Good Samaritans who saved him. And here's Lonnie with a look at the weather.
Well, this is what we're going to be talking about when we come back from the break. The winds are in the process of simmering down out there. It's going to be cold. It's cold outside right now, and that's true for the next few days. But it's overall a dry and quiet week. So let's talk about it in my forecast right after the break.
All right, Lonnie, and another live look here at the building collapse in the Bronx. We've been covering this breaking news all afternoon into the evening. More from the site right after the break. Back out live now to Maurice Heights in the Bronx at the site of that partial building collapse this afternoon. After an extensive search, firefighters say they found no fatalities, no victims or fatalities here today. For more on this search, let's send it back out to Maurice live at the scene. Maurice, that is the news we were waiting to hear all day.
It is truly incredible, Kristine. A feeling of disbelief that this happened in the first place, and a major sigh of relief that no one was seriously hurt. Calling this a Christmas miracle is no stretch. So many unanswered questions, though, right now about what caused large parts of people's homes to simply crumble down to the ground. Earlier tonight, I spoke with fire engineering expert and John Jay College professor Glenn Corbett. Here's part of our conversation. Are we any closer to having an idea of what caused this, Professor? I mean, a lot of guessing going on, surmising and trying to piece it all together. There were violations. There was literally construction work apparently going on behind me. You can almost see that yellow heavy equipment there. What is your sense at this point? I know we don't really know, but your sense, what's your best sense tell you as to what happened here?
Well, if you separate the building from anything that's going on outside of it, we start off with a building that's been described as unstable. It had issues before today's collapse. And so you're starting off what happened today with a building that's not 100%, a building that's not completely stable. One of the things that will happen here now is once they get the debris pile cleared away, and once they're able to sort of remove or stabilize those remaining floors, they'll have an opportunity, particularly at the base of the building, to find out at the very corner there, at the very bottom, there might be some evidence as to what happened there.
You know, the fact that nobody got hurt at this point, no, they might not be able to go home again, but calling this a Christmas miracle, that wouldn't be a stretch, would it?
No, this was an early Christmas gift tonight, and it's absolutely remarkable that no one in the building or even walking by was injured with this. It's completely remarkable, and it is really Christmas blessing for us, particularly for the folks that live there.
Our thanks to Professor Glenn Corbett there from John Jay. Yeah, Kristine, as we send it back to you, this might be the ultimate gift of the holiday season this year, that nobody got hurt. They don't have anywhere to go right at the moment, but nobody got hurt.
It really is. It's unbelievable and remarkable to think that no one was seriously injured here, Maurice. That was our worst fear while we were covering this afternoon. You know, we spoke with Professor Corbett during the garage collapse a few months ago. Now we're revisiting this situation in the Bronx, and it's a reminder that we spoke of, that with these aging buildings that surround us here in the city, that this is a continuing problem that we're going to be facing.
It sure feels that way. The city's not getting any younger, right? Buildings that are 100 years old are having these things happen to them, and so we really have to keep our eye on this and be vigilant, literally, as a city going forward.
Absolutely.
No question.
All right, Maurice. Well, great work out there with you and the team. Appreciate that reporting. We'll be checking back in with you in just a little bit. In the meantime, let's transition to our weather. Moving to New Rochelle, where there is word that a tree toppled over onto a street near Lemke Park. It happened around 3:30 this afternoon, and at this time, it's still not clear if this was weather-related. However, the fire commissioner says, thankfully, no one was hurt in this situation either. Bringing in Lonnie Quinn with our first alert forecast. That was quite a storm that moved through here yesterday and overnight, Lonnie, but it seems as though that's now moved through the area.
You betcha. Everything's sort of fading away now. As far as that tree that you showed that was pushed over, all right, the winds at that point in time would have been maybe 30 or 40. The winds were strongest early this morning and then late last night. So here's your picture outside as of right now. And in fact, those winds are settling down. 38 degrees right now. The winds have brought in the cold air, but the winds were so much stronger. Like I said, early this morning and late last night. Keyport, New Jersey, with a 59-mile-per-hour gust. LaGuardia and JFK had a 40-mile-per-hour gust. Central Park with a 28-mile-per-hour gust. You get to tomorrow morning, say 11:30 in the morning. Winds are pretty uniform, somewhere between 10 and about 20 miles per hour. And that picture you see right there will carry you throughout the day. So there'll be a little bit of a wind chill. Morning low is 32. That little bit of a wind chill will make that feel like you're in the upper 20s out there, but skies overhead look good. You got a good looking day tomorrow. Sun overhead, but 45 on the thermometer, feels like 39. When you catch that occasional 20-mile-per-hour gust, at times it could be gusting at only 5 miles per hour. So it's going to come, it's going to go. It's what you sort of expect with wind gusts. But look at this. We are on the dry side. No rain in sight really over the next 5 days. And boy, did we pick up rain yesterday. Fort Salonga in New York picked up over 5 inches of rain. Shelton, Connecticut, 3.6. Bradley Beach, 3.4. Central Park, 1.67. So even the low end of that, everybody had a lot of rain. And that now puts Central Park officially, for the year's total, at 55.21 inches of precipitation. That is almost 8.5 inches above where we should be. All right, we don't see anything out there rumbling right now. And look at this, KJ. I'll show you the entire country. Nothing really happening. You got a little storm forming over the Rockies. That's about it. Here's how I see things working out. 45 tomorrow. We talked about that with a good sky. 43 Wednesday, bottoming out with a cold day on Thursday, only hitting about 40 degrees with sunshine. More clouds for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but the rain chance looks to hold off until Monday, but temperatures for the most part.
Yeah.
About 50 degrees or lower.
But no precip. Nice.
Just don't see anything big brewing out there. Just don't.
Be a nice
good.
little break, Lonnie. Yeah. Thank you. Now over to Otis with a look at sports.
Hey, Kristine, you saw a lot of this at MetLife Stadium tonight as Tommy DeVito went. Tommy Cutlass' first Monday night game. I am so fired up. And the Knicks in their first game without Mitchell Robinson. Tight affair with the Raptors at the Garden, while the Nets had the late start out in Sacramento. Coming up in sports, Tommy DeVito.
The Supreme Court is considering ruling on a request from a special counsel on whether former President Trump is immune to federal prosecution. Jack Smith is investigating Trump on charges of plotting to overturn the 2020 presidential election results, and Smith is looking to prevent any delays in the trial, which is currently set to start March 4th. The High Court is speeding up consideration of this case, ordering Trump to submit a response by December 20th. Police continue to search tonight for a suspect in a deadly car crash in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Surveillance video shows the moment police say the driver of a Hyundai ran a red light and then crashed into a taxi head-on early Sunday morning. Cab driver Juan Carlos and his passenger were killed in the crash. Police arrested 2 people in the Hyundai, but say a third ran from the scene. In tonight's Health Watch now, a new study reveals what could happen when patients go off weight loss drugs. This trial from Eli Lilly followed 670 overweight and obese adults taking the injectable medication Zepbound. And after 9 months, half the participants were switched to a placebo shot. Over the next year, people who continued taking the weight loss drug dropped more pounds, but those in the placebo group experienced a 14% weight regain within a year. A dog is back home with his family tonight after a dangerous adventure on the Staten Island Expressway. Take a look at this video. It's showing the Chihuahua dodging speeding cars and darting into the HOV lane on a busy expressway. Drivers slowed down to avoid hitting the pup, and others actually tried to corner it. 3 Good Samaritans teamed up and were finally able to scoop up the Chihuahua, bringing him to safety, and they spoke to Inside Edition.
All did an amazing job.
It was a community effort, like it was over 20 cars that helped.
The dog, named Bean, is back home with his family now, thankfully, possibly kept on a tighter leash. We'll be back with Otis right after this.
This is CBS Sports New York, presented by Ford.
I don't even need words.
That's all. Just this symbol right here. What a special night at MetLife Stadium. The DeVito clan out in full force for her favorite son, Tommy DeVito's first Monday night matchup. The tailgate was off the chain, serving up cutlets, pasta, and other delectables to fans that are in the parking lot. And they wanted to see if Tommy could serve up a victory inside MetLife Stadium against the Green Bay Packers, who are still in the playoff hunt. Pick it up in the third. Giants down 10-7. It's a design run for DeVito. If it wasn't for his own teammate, it might have been 6. Doesn't Saquon Barkley tick it in a play later for his second touchdown of the night and a 14-10 Giant lead. Now 14-13 late in the third, and DeVito caps a 10-play, 75-yard drive with a great pass on the run to Isaiah Hodgins. It's an 8-yard score that had MetLife absolutely jumping. 21-13 G-men. Packers took the lead with under 2 minutes to play, but Tommy Cutlets led them to the field goal range, and Randy Bullock nailed it from 37 yards. The legend grows. Giants win it. Yeah. A thriller, 24-22. How about the Knicks hosting the Raptors at the Garden late in the third? Check out Julius Randle. You got to get up to get down. Only problem, he stayed up there and got a tee. He doesn't care. 34 for Randle. Toronto would not go away, however. Quentin Grimes with the season-high 19 off the bench, including 5 from downtown. Knicks up 7 in the fourth. Josh Hart, 9 of his 16 came in the fourth quarter. The Knicks win a high-scoring affair, 136-130. Late start for the Nets out in Sacramento. They trail the Kings by 4 in the third quarter, and the Islanders beat the Maple Leafs 4-3 at UBS Arena. But the story tonight,
the only story,
this guy's for real.
Woo!
He's for real.
Right?
He has won 3 out of his first 4 starts. Tommy
Man.
Cutlets. Yep.
And you think about when he first came in, and they wouldn't even let him pass the ball. Remember that?
Yeah.
First.
They definitely took the training wheels off now. He's playing. He made some big throws tonight. Guys, for real.
You know, it's just a great story for locally, for our audience and everybody.
Yep.
So
undrafted. He's killing it.
Yeah.
Doing great.
Thanks. So we'll be right back.
On a night when we were fearing the worst, we are relieved to report tonight that only 2 minor injuries in this partial building collapse here in the Bronx. FDNY has wrapped up its search after a debris field that was 12 feet high at its worst. Thank you so much for watching here at 11. Wraps up our coverage tonight from the partial building collapse in the Bronx. Team coverage begins tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 a.m. with our team. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Kristine Johnson.